First victory of the season, make it 10 different winners this season in 13 races. On P2, Laurin Heinrich for Porsche, and P3, Ricardo Feller for Abt Sportsline. Second victory for Audi and second victory for Abt Sportsline this season. Kelvin, very big congrats. That was kind of a roller coaster race today.
Yeah, it was. It was an amazing race. I don't know how it was on TV. I need to go watch the race tonight. I think I'm going to enjoy watching it. But in the car, it was amazing. So many things happening. Obviously, trying to get the tire pressures right at the beginning of the race. It was constantly raining, then it stopped. So there was a lot of factors coming into play. A lot of cars quick at different parts of the race. And I have to say, really, thanks to the team, because I think we did everything right today. The pressures in the first stint, second stint were on point. We had a scrub set of tires from this morning in qualifying, so that really helped me on the outlap to make the difference and catch the guys up front. So I think, in motorsport, sometimes you have those days where everything works out perfectly, and that was one of those cases today, which is obviously much appreciated after the season we've had. We've had a lot of races where we probably deserved a bit more, but weren't able to convert it. So I just want to say thanks to the team, and really goes out to them, because I think they went through some hard weeks, but I think the work ethic and the way they carried themselves was always a positive one, and that's a very positive side.
Let's talk about the start of the race. So you started from P2, from the front row, but then dropped a little bit back. And it looked like you were not in contention for the victory at that part.
Yeah, I mean, the start was very tricky. I knew we gambled a bit that the track would dry up, so we gambled on very low tire pressures, and I think the guys around me had probably a little bit more tire temperature in the beginning of the race. And to be honest, I just kept calm, because I knew our time would come. I knew at the end of the stint we could probably catch up a little bit, which helped me. I think we were able to re-overtake Thomas and then catch up Mauro again. Lauren was very quick the whole stint, so there was no real sign that I was going to win the race today until just before the pit stop window. I said to the guys, let's maybe take the risk. I mean, we have nothing to lose in the championship, and I think those are the races where you have to use that to your advantage, when you can take a bit of risk. So we were the leaders to stop, and I think that made the difference today.
So that the change to slicks made the difference then, the early stop.
Yeah. I mean, a number of factors. I mean, obviously the team did a great pit stop as well. No mistakes from my boys. They've been great this year in the pit stop, so that obviously makes a big difference as well to try and undercut. And obviously, like I already mentioned, the set of tires from qualifying, which was already scrubbed. I think Lauren and Mauro had to put a new tire on, and obviously on the first outlap, it makes a big difference if you have the tire temperature. So I think those two factors together made a big difference today, and played in our favor.
You had in the second part of the race, you had a 1.5 or 2 second gap to Laurin. Did you expected some harder opposition from him?
At one point, it felt like he was coming closer again. I think towards the end of the stint, I lost a little bit of pace. So I also saw Rene coming from behind. The BMW, we know, is good at overtaking here. So I was just trying to push as hard as I could to keep a gap, because I knew if I needed to defend, it would be difficult. But luckily today, I think everything played out, so nothing to worry about.
You're very experienced here at the Red Bull Ring with the Audi R8, and if we recall it correctly, during the DTM GT3 era and also the long history of GT Masters here, that's the first win for an R8 on this track here. So
wow, that's a cool stat. To be honest, I didn't know that. I think GT Masters, I don't think there were many wins either. So yeah, it's a cool day, cool stat to have, I think. But obviously it wasn't a normal race today. I think we have to be realistic that it was a wet race at the beginning, which helped us a lot. And obviously the strategy was a big point today. But I think in a full dry race, maybe it looked a bit different today. So okay. Yeah, we take this one anyway.
Thank you, Kelvin. Laurin, P2, second P2 for you in DTM this season after Nürburgring. So you started from pole, finished P2. So you're happy, or you're lacking the victory?
Yeah, for sure, I'm happy. I mean, the whole day was great. My first ever pole position in GT3. So it's a great result. In the end, of course, you want to win, especially when you're leading the whole first stint. I think the pace was really good. I'm happy about my driving. If it was a Carrera Cup race, I would have won it. So fortunately, there's a pit stop. We just pitted a bit too late. We didn't have a scrub set like Kelvin. I just found out. yeah, it was quite difficult, you know, to get the very new set. First to get this slippery film from the tire, and then to just activate the tire. It was good. We got the safety car, but still, even when the safety car ended, I feel my tire was still not 100% there. But it was really a lot of fun. I gained massive amounts of experience fighting with these guys. And yeah, tomorrow is another day. I hope it will rain again. I will do some rain dances. So let's see.
Tell us a little bit about the start. You had a good start on the wet track. Your teammate Ayhan Guven was very close to you, but you had everything under control.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, he's my teammate. I have a really good relationship to him. For sure, you're talking before the start what we're gonna do. But in the end, yeah, when you're in the car, you just push. I think that's for everyone the same. Actually, it was my first flying start from pole position. I think it went quite well. It's not as difficult as a standing start, I would say. Yeah, but after the first few laps, I realized, okay, my pace is good. I just have to keep adapting to the track. You know, it's changing every lap, and just be smooth to not kill the tire. And I was really consistent. My tire pressures worked out really well in all conditions, and I think it's just really important to never overdrive and lose your mind.
Coming back to the second part of the race, so there was not a position where you could really attack Kelvin.
Yeah, I mean, first I want to say that for a long time there was no drying line, so we stayed out on the wets. But then all of a sudden it came really, really quickly. I was a bit surprised. And then I think we went into the pits a bit too late, like 2-3 laps, I would say. Actually, I wanted to pit a lap earlier. And I was begging for it on the radio, but unfortunately my teammate was in the pit, so yeah, we couldn't pit at that point, so we did another lap. I was happy that Maro followed me. I think that was quite important. And yeah, then after I came out of the pits, I realized really quickly that Kelvin is coming. Yeah, I was fighting with Maro, who was in a similar situation like me. Then they were fighting really hard in the second to last corner, and actually I could profit from that, had a good exit onto the main straight and could pass Maro back.
When we talked here on this place on Thursday with Thomas Preining, he said, yeah, maybe this weekend the Porsche is not so quick here as he would like to be. But it looked a little bit different in today's race with a high amount of 911 in the top 5. So how would you judge the general performance of the 911 here this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, if you look the Thursday and Friday, I think it was a bit difficult for us, but of course today the conditions helped a lot. Yeah, the engine in the rear is always good in the wet, but yeah, we should not be blind. To be honest, I was also looking in the mirror. René was coming in the BMW. They are super quick in any condition here, and I'm happy when the race was over. Yeah, that's why I said I will do some rain dances tomorrow. I think in the dry, maybe the picture would be a bit different, if I'm honest. But yeah, we stay motivated, and in the end, we have to maximize what we have. Okay,
thank you, Laurin. Then moving on to Ricardo Feller. Ricardo, congrats! What a race from you today, from very behind of the grid to P3. Great race, great. Fight with René Rast in the final laps. So tell us about this amazing race.
Well, yeah, it was quite amazing. Nothing more. Not a lot to say, honestly. I mean, it's a great day. It's the birthday of Thomas. We had the luck on our side today. Everything worked out perfectly. The strategy, the pit stop, the tire pressures, like Kelvin already said. So everything was just right, and I'm super happy after we got our podium, or we didn't get our podium in Sachsenring. Now to finally get the 250th podium for Abt, and to have it as a double podium is even better. So I'm super happy for that.
Yeah, not the 250s, but also the 250 first podium in one go. So you started quite back behind after the qualifying didn't went quite well. What happened then in the start and the first part of the race?
Yeah, I was quite lucky. I had a good start, and then I could profit from all the guys around me on slick tires. Obviously, could catch them. And then I was just behind the pack, and I was trying to get one after the other. And I think the biggest step then in the end we did on the pit stop window, where we were one of the first cars to pit for slicks. And I was out on the, let's say, nearly hot slick tires on a drying line, and everyone was coming out of the pits with the completely cold tires, most of them probably on new tires. So, yeah, could take one after the other, and it was just working. I was quite happy in the car.
Why didn't you decide to switch the strategies when you were starting far behind to go on slick tires and Calvin on rain tires at the front? Why did you opt both cars on rain tires?
Because we knew that it will work out.
Ah, okay. Yes, that's quite simple then.
Obviously not, but I think yeah, the tendency was there that it could work out, and I was actually very, very close before they had to drop the car for I think it's 3 minutes to say, guys, come on, let's risk something. The title contenders are going on wets. Let's risk something, and we go on slicks. But in the end, the guys said, no, trust me, we go on wets. It's the right decision, and it was the right decision. Tire pressures were perfectly, so yeah, really, really happy.
And then tell us a little bit about the nice fight with René. That was really entertaining for us.
Yeah, it was also for me. I mean, I was watching my mirrors more than I'm used to, actually. But the BMW is so fast on the straights. You know that he's coming, but you just don't know when, or left or right. Luckily, the track was not completely dry, so it helped me a lot to defend because he could not brake on the fully inside or outside because it was wet. So, yeah, like I said, this helped me a lot. But it was a fair fight. Tough one, but a fair one. Just one place I was nearly in the gravel. This was a bit too much, maybe. But he gave back the position immediately. So it was all good from my side, and I'm happy to bring home this podium.
And this podium brings you in a very good position in the championship, so still on P3, but you reduced the gap to Mirko Bortolotti, if I calculated correctly, to 22 points. So 3 races to go, everything on the table?
Everything on the table.
And you're in the fight?
Yeah, we fight till the end. I was not expecting that we can close the gap today, honestly, starting third last. But yeah, this shows how close DTM is, and everything can change within seconds. And today we were one of the lucky guys, so I'm very, very happy, and we keep pushing.
So karma comes back after Sachsenring.
Yes.
Thank you. Then handing over to Sven, who certainly have some questions.
Yeah, that's correct. Question for Laurin. What was the reason why you didn't have the scrub tires? Was it because you only used the rain tires in the qualifying? And you also said you had a bit of a moment at the pit exit. Maybe you can talk about it.
Yes, yeah, we didn't have a scrub set because we were on wets for the whole qualifying, and to be honest, I didn't expect it would make such a difference to not have this 1 or 2 laps on the dry tire. But in the end, yeah, that's just close competition, and for sure we learned for next time. And yeah, and pit exit, you know, already in full dry conditions, and what we had on Friday when it was also a bit warmer. Already then the pit exit is slippery, you know, that on the hill in turn 1, between the walls, the right-hander and first gear. So yeah, I was coming down, pit limiter. I got rid of the pit limiter, and I was already in the TC with wheel spin until the top of the mountain, and I knew it will be super slippery. So I took it super careful, and still I turned in, and nobody was home. You know, I was just steering to the wall, and then it gripped up. And yeah, I think for sure you lose a lot of time already. Pit exit and turn 3, the hairpin, just to get this slippery film from the tire, from the new one. Yes, I could feel some sort of peak after the safety car, which was good. Quite unexpected amount of grip. It was suddenly so much compared to the wet tire before. But yeah, I mean, I think it would have been better to have a scrub one, but we just didn't have it. And for the future, we know it.
And one more question for Ricardo. I heard that you had a bit of a tough week. You had some stomach problems at the beginning of the week. Did you believe back then that you will have one of the races of your life today? And how was your week?
Well, I go into every race weekend fully motivated. Doesn't matter what has been before. I came from a race weekend. We were twice on the podium, so obviously I was quite happy. And these kind of things, they just happen. It's normal. But when I came here on Red Bull Ring, I was feeling very good from the beginning, and we didn't have any disadvantage this weekend because of that.
So any more questions here from the floor? No, then thank you everybody, and hopefully see you back tomorrow.